Hello and welcome to Netflix vs. Cinema, the podcast that figures out whether you should stay at home and watch things or you should go to the cinema and watch things. Which one's going to win the battle for your eyeballs?
Let's get ready to rumble!
My name is Tosin and I am the host. I am based up in a town called Bromsgrove in the middle of the United Kingdom. Joining me as always on the Isle of Wight is Shaun Harris.
Hello!
And also joining us on the Isle of Wight, coming back from her holiday of a week, it is Sharon Bolin. How are you?
Hello.
How was the holiday?
Wet.
Wet.
We experienced the phenomena of Cornish mizzle, which basically means it's like a misty drizzle that it blankets everything. It doesn't lift. It's like boom. And we had 2 dry days of 7. The rest was mizzle. So it does put a little bit of a inhibitor on some of the things you want to do.
I can very much imagine. So if you listen to us for the first time, I think we're not particularly specialists, but essentially, if there's anything that's been adapted from a book, Sharon's probably read it before it came to the TV shows. If there's anything that relates to the 70s or anything like that, Shaun's all over it. And I guess I'm the resident animation guy because I think more than anybody else, I watch animation. So as proven by the fact that at the moment my daughters are in the other room watching K-pop Demon Hunters, which I'm sure both of you has totally passed the both of you by.
Well, the thing is, what's amazing, what amazes me though is like they've got I don't know. I was looking at the films that are out at the cinema, and there's one like called Demon Hunter Kamini.
Yes. The Japanese manga and the Japanese anime. Yeah.
And it's got that, and yet it didn't get Spinal Tap. And it hasn't had Spinal Tap over it. I mean, I don't see the logic. To be fair, you do. Yeah.
I unfortunately do see the logic. I would wager that there would be a lot more people who would go see the anime than would go see that, because Spinal Tap is really going to be for people. I mean, we spoke about this last week, and we said that
we did.
I think it's a film that it's made for the people who know about the first film. And I think if you haven't,
teenagers when the first one came out.
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays, those sort of people are not really going to pack a cinema out necessarily. But for the Japanese anime, I think more, because you see more and more of them coming to the cinema.
Funny enough, you say that. I did think about going to see it, but I saw a trailer and it just didn't. I watched a trailer on YouTube for it, Yakutubi Nasha Soba or something like that, and it just didn't. I thought.
Well, there's sometimes, because I like animation. I love animation. I mean, it's
Love, Death and Robots. I mean,
Love, Death and Robots is brilliant. I love animation, but there's sometimes with Japanese anime, especially when it's like a franchise anime, where I feel you almost have to be into it to get it, to actually get. Because like for instance, Bleach. There's an anime called Bleach, and I can't get it.
I don't think the animation was particularly good. I really didn't think it was much, and they like almost showed the same shots all the time. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and going back and the slow moving and almost. But that was from the trailer, so I don't know.
No, that is showing the same shots all the time. That is very Dragon Ball Z. That is very Dragon Ball Z, and we should carry on and talk about things we've actually watched, because I could go on for how they would stretch out a fight in Dragon Ball Z by showing the same shots over and over again. But never mind. So okay, what have we seen in the cinema this week? Let's go, Shaun. You go.
Okay, well I've seen I Swear. That's all I've seen really.
I Swear.
Of other things, but that was a secret screening, so
yep,
it was a preview.
I Swear. Sharon,
I haven't seen anything new. The last one I saw was The Long Walk, which I saw with Shawnee, but I know you have reviewed it with him, so I don't need to bring that to the table.
Well, yeah, you can tell us what you think at the end, and we can see if it correlates, shall we say? If we have a consensus on this. All right, cool. And I saw something yesterday.
Big, Bold and Beautiful or something.
Thank you. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. That is not a review.
On at the island.
I would be surprised if it isn't. I mean, Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie.
It's a love story, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that. I mean, the poster tells you. the poster tells you. The trailer tells you. Everything tells you. It's like, look at the beautiful people looking at each other beautifully. So, like, All right, cool. Big, bold, beautiful journey. Okay, how about at home, Sharon?
I have finished watching a series on Apple TV called Lessons in Chemistry.
Lessons in Chemistry, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Based on
And yeah, based on a
Based
book,
on
of
a
course.
book.
Of course. Have you read the book?
yes.
Of course, you've read the book. So I'm like, all right, cool, good stuff. Shaun, anything at home? Another
Yeah,
thing. You're
I've been
becoming
watching
a
Alien
YouTube.
Earth, and the last one was in the early hours of the morning, but I went round with friends to see it. So just after work, I went round after work rather than.
Oh, so you finished Alien Earth now?
I've seen a whole lot. Yeah, I've seen.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk Alien Earth. We're gonna have to talk Alien Earth. I was going to talk about something that I think you'd like. It's animation, but it's set in the 70s in America, and and I think you'd like it. I think maybe you have spoken about it before. It's F is for Family.
Right, you might. Right.
Okay, cool. I mean, I thought that maybe you started watching and you've spoken about it, but no. I know the animation on Netflix that you have started watching was Big Mouth. But
Big Mouth. Yeah, that's it. Big Mouth. Yeah.
all right. Okay, cool. So, all right. I think that's it. We have two in cinema, two in Netflix. Let's get this barnstormer fight going. So, we're gonna kick off with a big, bold, beautiful journey. As said, this stars Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, and it is directed by a guy called Kogonada, who he directed a movie called After Yang, which I have reviewed before, and I spoke about how it was like this sort of weird little film about a Chinese android essentially, and in this film, it's, I think, to give you the idea of this film, everything I saw about this film, even the poster that Shaun has behind his head right now, the color palette of it, the sort of like the trailer, this film is going for quirky. This film is going for quirky, and I think that the film that immediately came to my mind that they were trying to emulate once I saw everything before I watched this film was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And when watching this film, that just became stronger that this is the film they're trying to emulate, is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So you have Colin Farrell. You meet him at the beginning, and he's sort of like, leaving his house in some city. It's not named, but it looks very New York. I mean, it's unnamed, but it looks very much like it's New York. And he's going off. He's on his phone to his mom and dad, and he's going to a wedding. And he gets to a place. He can't drive his car for a reason that I think is kind of dumb. And I'll explain later, but like he can't drive his car for a reason I think is kind of dumb. And so he goes, and on the wall he sees this thing that says a car rental agency. So he goes to this car rental agency, which is like the weirdest kind of car rental agency you'd see. It's kind of like something out of a Wes Anderson movie. Like if you saw, it's a bit like that. Like he goes into this car rental agency, and this car rental agency has 2 cars in it, and it has this big, massive warehouse. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline are sat at a table, and they have this really, really weird conversation with him and everything like that, where he has a car, and then they say, "Do you want the GPS?" He's like, "No, I don't want the GPS." It's like, "Oh, you sure don't want the GPS?" "Oh, no, I don't want the GPS." "Oh, you really, really need the GPS." "Oh, what about your phone?" And it's kind of like a weird kind of thing, and it's one of these things where early on in the film you either go with it and say, "Yes, I'm with this," or you're like, "What the hell is going on? I don't think I like this." I feel like it's a scene. It's kind of like, like a water test. Like it's gonna dunk you in the water, and you're either gonna jump on and yell and say nope, or you're gonna be like, "No, I'm here. I'm happy with the temperature." So he goes up to this wedding, and when he gets to this wedding, he gets introduced to this woman, Sarah, played by Margot Robbie. They sort of like flirt a little bit, but at the same time, they're kind of like, "Nah, this thing isn't going to work." And then when they leave the wedding and they're driving back, his sat-nav starts have a conversation with him, and actually has his name. His sat-nav calls him David and says, "Take like the next exit, David," and all that. And it turns out that she's also gone to this car agency. She's gotten a car from there, and their sat-navs are essentially pushing them together to sort of like make them fall in love, pretty much. And so they end up driving, and the sat-nav says, "Stop here." They stop here. They find a random door in the middle of nowhere, and then they walk into all these different doors, and these doors take them back to key moments of their lives. And like they're both walking through their own memories. There's a bit where Colin Farrell ends up. Sharon, you might like this. Colin Farrell ends up performing an entire number from the musical How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Because he's taken back to a time when he was in school and he was starring in that musical, and how that sort of like, affected his ideas about love and all that kind of stuff. So so you then essentially you get them working through their stuff, as to why they should get together, why they shouldn't get together. And essentially the whole thing about them is are they going to get together? Are they going to work through their stuff? Are they going to get over themselves? And are they going to get together? That is what this film is. Now, I don't think this film has the right amount of whimsy that you need to pull this off. I feel like the film is a bit dull, it's a bit slow in places, and there are some things that just don't like. I remember in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I mean, you guys have seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that film a lot. And I think it's because that film, it's sort of like, there's a fantastical element to it, but like the bits where it's grounded makes sense. But from the beginning, so the reason why he can't drive his car is because his car has been clamped. So his wheel has been clamped. And I'm thinking, call up the people and get your wheel unclamped and drive your car. It doesn't make sense to me that your wheel has been clamped and therefore because your wheel is clamped, you go rent a car and spend a lot more money. So straight away, I was like, what? And I'm like, I don't know what you. And so I feel like you have to allow a lot, and you have to suspend a lot, and you have to ask. There's so many questions you have to just not ask to get with the premise of the film. There's some bits of it that are quite good. There's some bits where they're walking through each other's memories that are quite good. But I feel like it's kind of straightforward. I feel like it's a romance or it's a romantic comedy. I think it's very light on the comedy, quite frankly. And okay, cool, yeah. Let me put it this way. I'm watching this thing going, they're going to work through their stuff and they're going to get together. That is it. And so if you know that, is it saying anything else? And I'm not really sure it is. I mean, it looks good in places. There's some bits that are cool. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is kind of fun. Kevin Kline has like 5 words to say in the whole film. And so all in all, I think this is a low 3. It's a low 3 because there's things I just don't think it flows. I don't feel like this film flows, and I feel like it shoots for something and I don't think it hits it. So it's a low 3. I've seen 2s in places and I totally understand. I totally understand that, but at the same time I'm like, what is Colin Farrell? It's Margot Robbie. They look good together. They kind of he dances and sings and does how to succeed in business without really trying. And I'm like, yeah, that bumps it up to a 3 for me, but I think for some people it might be a 2.
Right.
Yeah. So now let us go.
Probably not for me then, Little Toast. Probably not for me.
Sean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I sincerely doubt it.
Because I was like this. I was amming and ahhing, and I thought, don't know.
No, Sean. I think if it, let me put it this way, I would be interested to see what you thought. But if you were going to ask me, I think you would be huffing and puffing and going up and down, and you'd be looking at the screen, going, "What the? Oh, for goodness sake, why are you doing that? Oh, that's not great."
You always give good advice, so I take that.
Yeah.
You know me. You seem to know me, so I'm going to take that on good advice. So I shan't worry about that.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
All right, and I am going to hand over to you, Shaun, and if you can tell us about Alien Earth. Tell us about Alien Earth. Yeah. And my children have just disappeared off the monitor I have of them. So, okay, no, it's okay. They're back now. Okay, good. Thank God. I was like, what the heck are they doing? What the heck are they doing? All right, cool. So, Alien Earth. Tell us about Alien Earth.
Okay, Alien Earth. Okay, so this is part of the Alien franchise. And basically, the world is run by like 5 big conglomerate corporations. They own different parts of the world. Like you got Weyland-Yutani, which is like British Japanese. You've got Prodigy, which is like South Africa. You've got a Russian corporation called Lynch. You've got Europe. Anyway, so it's 5 companies, and they're all trying to find out about everlasting life. They're trying. This is the important. They're all trying to chase so that people can live forever. And this happens, and the 2 main companies, I guess, that are there, Weyland-Yutani, which we know about from the Alien franchise.
Yeah, from the Alien movies.
Little W. And then you've got Prodigy, which is, he's like this young entrepreneur, which it just happens that this spaceship, which is carrying alien species, which is owned by Weyland-Yutani, smashes into Prodigy City, which is Prodigy. So, of course, Prodigy's got the alien species, Yeah. And also another thing they've been doing is they've taken children that have been ill and they've put them in like other bodies, like which are enhanced bodies, enhanced humans, if you will.
Yeah, so, as part of their quest for eternal life.
Yeah. So to see how they go, and obviously they sort of, well, children, they're sort of adolescents, I guess, and so obviously they've got a few. There comes a time where they're a bit influenced by certain characters.
Yep, yep, yep.
Uh, so yeah, and basically, so you've got these aliens. Of course, some's going to escape, or some's interesting.
It is an alien movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I like to see them do an alien movie where the alien remains in a cage for the entire film.
Don't have a face bugger. Yeah.
But you've got some other aliens in this now.
Yeah.
There's this one, the eye midge or whatever he is, which is that one.
Yeah, I can see the picture behind you. I've
Yeah,
heard stories about this eye monster.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Hear that this eye monster is nightmare fuel.
But yeah, but but what's really really good? You've got a cyborg which is working for Wayland Yutani, and you've got a synthetic,
Yep.
which is working for Prodigy. They're like two, and they're talking. There's rivalry, but they're talking in a lift, and they're talking about fighting each other and a cyborg versus synth, which is obviously you're going to get that a bit later, so I won't.
Yeah.
But I really really like that. I like that when they're having a conversation. Yeah, so there's a lot of running around, a lot of enhanced humans, certain people getting killed.
As is
is,
customary,
yeah.
as is traditional.
Yeah. It's funny, the episodes, it's a pity I couldn't put this into different episodes because there's some which are really, 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 really good, and others which I mean, episode 5 was the best, and there's a lot of nods to the original Alien.
You're saying a lot of stuff that I've heard in other places. I think
Have
somebody.
you? Really?
Yeah.
Right.
I've heard somebody said that that episode 5 is the best Alien movie since the original Alien.
Original, yeah. I mean, that's just but that is how, because I mean, obviously the first one is the crash and stuff that goes on, and then but 5 is what tells you what happened before the crash, or as so you've got all the. And there was a lot of so many nods to the original Alien series, which is great for being that I love them. And as I say, and then you've also got introduced to these new aliens. Now, there's a couple you don't know if they're going to be. Well, you still don't know even to the last one because something with the eyeballs happened, and you don't know if that's an interesting because it tries to. I can't really. I suppose I. No,
let me put it this way: this is a TV show. This is a TV show, and it's made by Hulu. It's made by Disney. Everything like this, and you know that they're hoping that if this is received well, they're going to have to make more of them. So I can't imagine that every single storyline is resolved.
But that's it. Yeah, well, because you don't know if this alien is good or bad. It's really, really interesting. So you don't know what's going to happen, whether it's going to be a rival to the xenomorph or whether it's So on the whole, with this, I did really, really like it. I really, really liked it. There were a couple of episodes which I had a few sort of issues with, but
treading water.
Yeah, treading water. Yeah, that's exactly it. But I think on the whole, when I'm trying to work through it all now, from the last episode was pretty good, but see, this is either going to be a really high. It's like we had one last week. This is either going to be a really high 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's probably going to be a low 4. So, I mean, I know we have highs and lows. So this will be a low 4. Not like an amazing one, but but I think it's worth a 4 purely on the strength of episode 5.
Yeah. Well, okay. Cool. Good stuff. I think this is one of those things where I'm like, I would like to watch this at some point, but I need to find that perfect place where it's not too dark, it's not too late at night, and I don't have kids to look after because I don't want them to watch this. So,
I was contemplating whether it was worth me getting a 1 month subscription to Disney Plus to watch it.
It would be interesting.
I gave up for Disney and I gave up my Amazon.
I know. So I'm lucky that I got a friend.
When there's something really worth it. So at the moment, this is the only thing that's even slightly tempted me to sort of get 1 month on Disney.
I think it probably has tempted a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I think but I think what you're saying is the way things are going, where you're going to have to start sort of like tactically, depending on when essentially store up your shows especially with things like Apple TV and Disney, because Disney were releasing they were releasing an episode a week of Alien Earth, and what they call Apple TV Plus did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just okay, just wait, pay £5, binge everything in a month, leave, or just do what I do. It's like you pay £5 and then you immediately cancel it because it will cancel. It will cancel it like
you know that you're not going to forget it. Yeah, I've done the same with things like MGM. There was one series I want to watch. So it's like I'm going to get that for a month. I've watched that series, and if there's anything else bonus, if not, I'm cancelling it straight away.
Yeah.
And so I've done that with a few. Just literally, I've done I think we're with a world, aren't we, where we can't justify having 6 streaming platforms all the time.
No.
It's just not happening.
No, because you look at it, you're looking at about £50 a month just trying to maintain all these things, and you can't watch everything. You're going to be...
you don't watch everything. And the number of times I've had one, and I'm like, when was the last time you watched something on that platform? They've had, like 2 months or 3 months worth of subscription from me, and I haven't watched anything. Yeah. So then we decided we're going to cancel everything and then just have them. We'll rotate the ones between the different ones, and hopefully there's enough content then to justify it for a month.
Yeah, especially now that those money-hungry people they're beginning to crack down on sharing your password with friends and family and all that. I mean, that's annoying. But anyway,
I actually paid up for Amazon. I paid for a year, so I paid up. They did like an annual thing, so I paid.
Yeah, it's cheaper if you do it that way.
I used to do it myself. I used to have an annual Prime thing, but I got that as well because I decided I was going to give up Kindle books and I was going to give up Prime just because I think Amazon doesn't need my money.
No,
I thought that,
I think that.
My money.
I mean, I think originally as well, you get if you get anything from Amazon, you get free postage, don't you?
Yes.
And I was, but I don't know even know if that's really worth it. But I do actually pay. I think I spend most of my stuff now on sort of YouTube, So that I watch. Oh, I'm upside down there. You like it?
I'm like, Shaun, I don't know what you're doing, but you're just jumping around the screen, man.
How's that? Is that better?
That is better,
yeah. Okay.
All right, cool. So that forced us for Alien Earth. And now we're going to go back to cinema, and we're going to talk I Swear. Now, it's funny because this film, right, when you said I Swear, my first thought was, I Swear Daniel Blake. I was like, no, that was Daniel Blake. That's another film. It's like, that's a Ken Loach movie. But tell us, so it says based on a remarkable true story on the poster in the background. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, okay. So I Swear, this is a story. I mean, a while ago, I think a long time ago, Channel 4 did a documentary about Tourette's.
Yes.
And there was the Tourette's thing. He actually got the MBE.
Yeah.
For he got the MBE.
The guy who was featured in the documentary.
Yeah. So he had Tourette's. So this is basically a film based on that. And obviously at the end they show a few bits of the actual guy himself.
Yeah.
So this is a story. He's starts off where he's at school, and then he starts to get the tics and and he swears a bit, and he swears in the canteen, and he's a goalkeeper, and he's going to have a goalkeeper for the football team, and he's going to have a trial. Someone's coming to watch him for a trial, but the headmaster finds him and whacks him on the hand. So when it comes to the trial, he can't actually do
catch
it.
the ball.
His dad's really angry, his mum's really angry, and of course he spits at him and he tells him where to go and all sorts of stuff like that. So the father leaves, and it becomes quite. He gets beaten up. He gets arrested by the police because he calls them. It's funny. It's funny what he calls them. But then when he meets an old friend, an old school friend, it's like, how you do, and says, come in, and my mum will cook you dinner. And she's sort of had a cancer diagnosis. Anyway, she sort of friends him. He goes in. He don't want to go in. He says no. But she goes in and he swears at her and that. But she sort of accepts him for what he is.
Yeah.
And then he gets a job, and he calls he goes for an interview for a job, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to get it, and he calls him all names and says some of it you can see in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to say, but the bloke accepts it, and he says we want to give him the job, and he gets on really, really well. And then he sort of thinks to himself, perhaps I can do something more to make, because people weren't aware of it. That's so.
Because
from school it goes 10 years, sort of it jumps ahead from when he's at school. It's a little bit about school, then jumps.
And this guy John Davidson in the real life, he's probably in I think 40s, 50s or something like that. And obviously in the film, so going back to when he would have been in school.
Yeah,
it would have been like the 80s or something like that. When
90s, yeah. So it's like early 90s. So
early
it goes
90s, yeah.
From 80s and then early 90s. So
where people didn't really know about this, so
they didn't,
they didn't know this was like.
It was treated as a bit of a joke, wasn't it? It was like something
yeah.
you'd see on a carry-on film or something where people thought it was just something that was a little bit funny. Rather than a condition or medical condition.
Or that people who had it were just using it as an excuse to be rude.
Excuse.
Yeah,
that's right. When he goes to court, because of course he calls the police all names and that.
Yes.
And in the sales, he's calling them and they're like, you right, okay, that's it. You're being done. And he goes and he calls the judge. He's in the thing and he calls the judge all sorts of stuff. And he's like, the judge is like, he's getting pretty irate.
Yeah.
So, this was... and I should imagine that some of the youngsters that he teaches or whatever, because I'm pretty sure that in one of the scenes at the end when he's running this community and he's making people aware, because parents come to him and say, look, we don't know what to do with, I've heard that so is there any chance? And there's a bit in the car where there's this girl with Tourette's and he's with Tourette's and the parents just leave him in the car and there's like this whole tirade between the two of them.
Or like a Tourette off.
And it's hilarious. It is, yeah. It's like they're all just, they let them rip into each other, and so yeah. So from that, but I have to say, I mean, I at school. This is going back a few years. There was I did know someone with Tourette's called Brendan, and he was even when he was walking down the street, and I remember we had and I really remember this because it was so. We had it was.
Okay. Well, did you just lose Shaun as well, Sharon?
Yes, I've just lost Shaun.
Yeah, I've lost. I can hear him in the background, so I think he's still talking, but something's gone wrong with his connection. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to edit this thing, but but at some point Shaun disappeared, and now Shaun is back. But Shaun, when you left, you were telling us about Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan. Yeah, so this was a student, and I said to him on the Memorial Day. I said when we was having I said, will you be able to manage,
Remembrance Day?
And he goes, yeah, Remembrance Day. And he said, I try, sir, I try. And I said, oh, good lad. He said, I'm quite confident. Anyway, so it was all silent, but the bell went and he was all silent. He was really good. And then he just it would have laughed. It would have been good in the movie because he just couldn't help himself. And he started ticking and swearing. And I was going,
you mean like the 1 minute silence?
Yeah.
The 1 minute silence. Yeah. And he's because I mean, he I think he tried to control it, but he just couldn't, and he just went off on it
during the silence.
Pardon?
During the silence.
After about 50 seconds, so we were nearly there. We were so nearly there.
Oh, bless him.
And then, so I always remember that. But I've seen him, and he still has. He's still, even if I see him walking down, he sort of lives near the bus station. And I sometimes see him walking down the street, and he still's got the tics and things. But yeah,
man, I'm so invested in the Brendan story now.
Anyway, I better, I'm really sympathetic. I better just give, because I don't think you got the rating for this.
Well, we did not get the rating.
No, okay. So acting was superb. Acting was absolutely. He was brilliant. He was who the actor is. I'm not sure his name. Is it Robert Armani?
Robert Aramayo.
Aramayo. I've seen him in Game of Thrones.
He played young Ned Stark.
Yeah, but he was fantastic. He was brilliant in this, and I think, I mean, I'm looking at this, and this for me was a 4-star. This was a 4-star. I really, really, really liked it. And it's not those 4 stars across the top influencing me.
I know you, because you have shown up with a poster that just has 4 stars, 5 stars. So it's kind of like it's almost.
I mean, it's very British. It's very British. I don't know how it'd go with a USA audience or a foreign audience.
Yeah, because the thing is, everything about this film, everything about this film, almost sort of screams kitchen sink drama. It almost sort of screams like, Ken Loach at you, Ken Loach, Mike Lee, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But it seems like for everything I've heard, it seems like it has a little bit more hope than your typical Ken Loach or Mike Lee film does. It's a bit like if you mixed Ken Loach with the Full Monty or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, so all right, so 4 stars for that. And now, all right, so Sharon, tell me about lessons in chemistry.
Yeah, this is based on I think it's made a couple of years ago, but the book sort of was quite a bestseller but a couple of years ago. That's in the company. It's a story about a woman. Her name is Elizabeth Zoit or Zott. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation. But she is someone who is a skilled chemist.
Yeah.
And there's an event that happened during her university years that basically stopped her getting her doctorate. So she's forbidden from actually working in a lab as a chemist. She can only get a job as a lab assistant. But she has a brilliant mind. And she is sort of is an innovator. She's got one of these minds that just sees problems and she can sort of break it down to the chemistry of it.
Yeah.
And she's very analytical. But she's quite.
Is it worth saying? It's worth saying when this show is set. Like what decade is set?
It starts off in the 1950s.
Okay. So
so it's in she doesn't fit into the traditional role of what women were supposed to be like at that time.
Yeah.
It's unusual that she went to university, but she's quite outspoken, she's quite blunt, and she's sort of not what you would expect a woman of raised in that sort of way to be.
Yeah.
And she's basically battling against everyone around her because she wants just to do what she wants to do, and she's working for men who rely upon her to do their work because she basically is a better chemist than they are. She's a better mind.
Yeah.
And in this sort of laboratory, she actually meets a man who actually recognizes in her brilliance, and they become partners in work and partners in life. And part of the story is about what happens in their relationship. And her life moves on. It sort of charges over about 10 years, this story, and you see some of it in flashback. And her life moves on, and she no longer works for the lab, and she accidentally gets a job hosting a television show about cookery.
Yeah.
Because she's a chemist, she approaches even cooking as basic chemistry. It's all about getting the right quantities and the right mixture and the right temperature and it's an experiment basically in food.
Yes.
And she becomes this enormously popular television host of this show, Dinner at 6.
Yeah.
And you see how her sort of attitude to life and her attitude to food and her attitude to chemistry all sort of combine through the medium of this show, and how she basically wants to sort of live her own life, live her real life, but not conforming to what she's supposed to be as a woman, not supposed to be as a chemist, not supposed to be as a television personality.
Yeah.
As the film progresses into the 1960s. So yes, it's a story of sort of her life and the tragedies of it, the dramas of it, and the joys that sort of affect her as well. So I think it's over 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And it delves into it delves into her past and the reasons why she is the way she is in some ways in terms of interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
And it delves into the life and the past of her partner, who she declines to marry for her own reasons, that she doesn't want to be a married woman.
Yeah.
She doesn't ever want to marry. And so that again affects her professional reputation and the way people treat her as a non-married woman.
It is the 50s going into the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah. The fact that her ambition isn't to get married.
Yeah. There is no place for you in society. You don't make any sense. A woman doesn't want to get married.
And it draws in sort of societal issues of the time, sort of racism and sexism and the sort of religious, geopolitical impact of the times. So it all has an impact on this story. But yes, it's a sort of snapshot through the lens of this woman's life into being true to yourself, I think, is probably the key, the lesson that we learn from the stories.
Okay, that's what they set out to do. How did you feel about what they actually did?
I thought they did it well. I think they translated from the book, or the adaptation from the book was good, was faithful. So there's some unpleasantness in the book, and they did it discreetly and they translated it well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, on the whole, they was entertaining. I think she was more engaging. In the book, she can be quite unlikable because I think that's the nature of her character. And I think they stopped some of her edges in the thing.
Yep.
But no, I thought it was done very well, actually. I thought it was a worthy adaptation of that book, and it was entertaining for what it was. So the things I didn't like about the book I've carried over. There, there's things I didn't really particularly like about the series, but not enough for me to say I didn't like it. There's just some of the characteristics, some of the storylines. I was like, "Uh," but on the whole, I thought it was done well. I enjoyed it, entertaining, good cast. They all played their parts well. There weren't any duff notes where you're thinking, no, I don't believe you. They
Yeah,
all did what they did really well. There's humor in it. There was, yeah, real pathos in it, and there was some really unpleasantness in it. But
yeah, yeah.
it, it
Uh,
did
uh,
it well.
every review I've heard about this show has sort of like subtly referenced unpleasantness without saying what it is. So yeah, so
The
I
book, it
can.
takes you by surprise. You think you're going to be picking up a nice book about a lady hosting a cookery show, and then quite early on, there's a dramatic scene that you go, oh, I did not see that coming, and you had no warning. You had you
It,
were like it's
it,
like eh.
it's just one of those things, but when you have a novel based on a woman in 1950s America, you expect that there's going to be some unpleasantness. It's like when I'm trying to reach a novel about a black person in America that's set in like the 1930s. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's like it's kind of par for the course, but sometimes and I think it's funny because this looks like almost it looks almost like a sort of like cozy kind of show, and then you realize, oh
yeah,
no, it's actually trying to be a bit more realistic.
yeah.
But all that being said, Brie Larson, Lewis Pullman, who I actually really like, Lewis Pullman, I really like. How many stars would you give this?
So again, I'm torn like the sort of high three or a four with it because I did think it was engaging. I did watch it, without too much break. It was like, okay, yeah, well, I'm committing to this. So high three, four. What do I go for? I'd probably err on the more the high three.
Okay.
But it certainly is up in that cusp between three and a four.
Yep, I hear you on that. And also, I've got a question about Brie Larson. So Brie Larson is an actress who sometimes I find it very very hard to warm to. I think
Yeah,
she does a sort of like Ice Queen thing, but it
yeah.
seems like this works for this character the way you're describing the
That was
character.
perfect for that. Yeah, you didn't see any Captain Marvel or whatever she is in the Marvel films. You didn't
Yeah,
see any of that. You
yeah, but
forget that it's
even
uh,
then, I feel she's quite cold in that.
yeah. So that is Elizabeth. So she has those moments of warmth, but you got to chip away at them a little bit. But
Yeah.
no, she did. I thought she did capture the character in the book very well.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah, I thought she did it very well.
So 3 stars. This just got rained back into a three. Was almost on the way to a four, but just got rained back into a three for lessons in chemistry on Apple TV Plus. All that's left to ask is who do we think has won this week?
Um, well, I was sort of thrown off a bit there, so I don't know.
But
I'm gonna have to guess.
I'm
I
thinking,
would think
I
cinema,
only
yeah,
had
because I
I
think
think
cinema possibly. Do you think?
I think it's a tie.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go with tie. I'll go with Sharon this week. I'll go with Sharon.
Yep, you're correct. It's a tie. We have a three and a four on both sides.
Brilliant.
I think some of those threes and some of those fours just about snuck in there.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, in the hard world of maths, it's a tie this week. So you might as well leave the house and go to the cinema. You might as well sit at home and watch some of these shows.
There,
Either way, you're being looked after. All right,
there was
cool.
there was lots of stuff coming out next week. Lots
Is
of
there?
stuff.
Give
Lots.
us a couple of give us a couple
Okay,
of
you got one
names.
battle after another. The
Ooh.
Strangers. I'm going to see Downton Abbey probably at some point because John wanted to go and see that. We got a secret screening. We got a couple of reprints. We got yeah. So I
I'll tell
think
you. I'll tell you.
I'm going to be. We got an Aliens. We got an Aliens reboot. The Aliens
Yeah,
direct
Yeah, the
you know.
anniversary is
You
going.
know what I was saying about
anniversary
the Spinal Tap thing, where that's a film made only for fans of the first
fans.
one. I
Yeah,
think Downton Abbey is that on steroids. I feel like there is no point watching that film if you are not down with the Downton Abbey thing. Although,
Downton
Sean,
Abbey.
I think if you're not down with Downton Abbey thing, and I want to just try this as an experiment, you can be the canary down the mine.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
can?
John said to me, Happy John, our
Happy
friend
John,
Happy
yeah.
John, he said he'd like to see it because he saw all of them with his mum. So I said
With
I'd
his
go with
mum,
him.
yeah, used to
But I
watch
think
it.
when I go Thursday, Sharon, but it's probably too early for you. 5 o'clock showing. 5:20. If you
It
did
all
want to come,
depends. My mother has got some laser eye treatment tomorrow, so it all depends if she goes.
wouldn't she like
goes
it? Wouldn't
through
she?
with it.
Oh no, well she couldn't, I suppose, if she's had laser eye
No, and
treatment.
then if I can leave her, but I'll be it's a possibility. I didn't like Downton.
Oh well, no, don't come now. Sorry, yeah. I mean, I saw.
I was forced to see the last film. No, not the last film, but one. I was dragged along to see one of the films. So I saw the two series and one of the films. That's it.
Well, I was saying to Toes last week that I watched it when I was at my mum. My mum last time was at my mum. My mum had it on, and it was one where you probably better tell me this: the royal couple or something are visiting the.
That's the second film.
That's the second film, yeah.
Yeah, the King.
That was the one I watched, and I thought, I might do it just purely for John, and there might be the Chinese assistant might want to come along because she said, "Oh, I'd like to go to the cinema, but I wouldn't understand any of it." I said, "Well."
So for anybody who doesn't understand, Shaun has a Chinese assistant at the school. Is that current Chinese assistant, or is it the Chinese assistant who was there to help people learn Chinese a while back?
No, this is a new one. This is a brand new one.
You have a new lady every term, don't you, or every year? They come
every year. So I just thought Downton Abbey would be a British one, but I don't know if she'd come. But the offers was there for her.
All right, cool. So, but okay, so that's next week. But quickly, we said we'll have some time on this at the end. Sharon, can you just tell us what you thought about The Long Walk?
The Long Walk, the Stephen King adaptation of a short story.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting. I don't know why. I haven't had a chance to listen to Shaun's review yet. I don't know if it's out on
YouTube. Yeah. Oh no, that episode's up. Last week's episode is up. Last week's episode's up, and the individual things are up on our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. To find out more.
I have. Yeah, I had a look this Monday, and I think it obviously wasn't out on Monday. But yes, so it's a group set in the future, dystopian future. Devastating war has ripped apart America as we know it. Every year there's this annual competition, an endurance test. The young men go on this walk. They have to walk the one who basically walks for the longest and the furthest and survives the various trials and tribulations wins this enormous prize beyond all, your dreams, beyond the wealth of dreams of avarice and all that.
We told everybody about this last week. We know
all about it.
Yeah, so let's jump straight to what did you think?
So thought it was well done. I thought it was well made, gory and unflinching in its goriness, which you sometimes do in an unexpected way. Although I think the young actors did their jobs very well. My problem is with the story. I thought ultimately it was pointless. I couldn't actually see the point of why they were doing it. And sometimes some of the choices of the characters that they made were very convenient. So it's like, so you have decided to go on a suicidal rampage, and it's very convenient that you did that. So it means that the main characters we're invested in get to make it to the end, so that you've got this bit of tension about who actually is going to win. Yeah. So I think there were a lot of convenient deaths that weren't always logical, and they didn't make a lot of sense in terms of what their character development had been doing before that point.
Yep.
But ultimately, it was. I didn't get it. Ultimately, it was like a pointless exercise, a pointless endurance test that didn't produce anything. You couldn't see the logic behind it. It was an illogical choice to get the young people to do that. It wasn't a Hunger Games where you can almost see why. This was just a thing that you. But why? It's the question you come away with.
Yep.
And it's like but why? So I would say it was well done, but ultimately pointless. And yeah.
Are you sure you didn't listen to Shaun's review from last week?
Yeah, but Toes did make something and said it was like an allegory for Vietnam.
It was originally written as an allegory for the Vietnam War.
Yeah, which would make it
more sense.
Yeah, more sense. Pointless.
Again, like a futile exercise, and
pointless young men
sacrificing your young men. Yeah.
So so that's that. All right, cool. Thanks a lot for that, Jared, and also for me hurrying you along. I apologize, but I will do it again. And also something I was saying earlier. I was talking about Brie Larson and how I always find her a bit cold, and Superfan Nina is having a bit of a. She's having a show. She's having a whole cinema week where she's just catching up with a whole bunch of stuff. And she was mentioning Materialists, and I know I reviewed this a while back. And Shaun, you watched it after I reviewed it.
Yeah, I did.
And we never actually got to hear what you saw. But it reminded me about Dakota Fanning and how Dakota Johnson, and how I like when I talk about Brie Larson and finding her cold. I find Dakota Johnson really cold.
In that film particularly, there was.
I find I think it's a very harsh thing to say, but the thing is I'm watching her on screen. I just end up thinking I find it hard to believe that this woman has ever had a feeling. So there's just something. I'm like, wow, what am I not seeing here? She keeps showing up in films. What am I not seeing? But Shaun, what did you think of Materialists?
Okay, I think we did, Toes. I think we did mention this once because I think it was much the same. Was saying that I didn't, Dakota thingy. I just hated her. I just really, really didn't like her in one shape or form, and she just was really revolting, horrible, nasty person. And I didn't think she acted particularly well either. In fact, I think the acting in this wasn't particularly good for me, from a personal point of view. I'm pretty sure we did discuss this, but maybe
no. I'm pretty sure I have never heard you say this. I've never heard you say this.
Okay, but no, she's foul. She's horrid. And that's about the only thing I got from that's about the only film I got from the film. And I was thinking, you how could you be a matchmaker? It's like you got to be kidding. You got to be kidding. How could you possibly? Everybody would just be turned off by you. Everybody would be just like, ugh, I don't want that.
Well, there's bits about it because for her, she sees it as a very mathematical. Non-emotional thing, and that bit I bought. But it's when you start going to her personal life and you start talking. I just found it. I just didn't believe that.
No, that's it, Toes. You put the nail on it. Didn't believe her character.
And I think it's probably like a thing with me and Dakota Fanning. It's like how there's certain foods like everybody seems to love cheese. I hate the stuff, and I feel like Dakota Johnson could be my cheese because I just don't.
You like pizza though, Toes?
I can eat pizza. Yeah, I can eat pizza.
That's really strange because I've got a friend and their neighbour, he hates cheese with but he'll eat pizza. Goes, oh, you got pizza?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it took me a long time before I ate pizza, and then I realized there's something about the mix sort of levels it out. That's what I need to find. I need to find a film where
chemistry. It's lesson in chemistry.
that sort of levels the whole thing out. But the thing is that Dakota Johnson, I've yet to see her in something. Oh, actually,
the only thing about that, is it the fifth one? What's it called? The one where you're taking that young lad on the boat journey. We've all seen it.
Oh, the Peanut Butter Falcon.
I was going to say Phoenix, but that's right. The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
I liked her in.
I didn't particularly notice her in that. That's true. And Shaun, I just saw the other one, Bad Times at the El Royale. She was actually in that film.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she? She was the sister. She was the older sister that was trying.
She was the older sister who was trying to get her sister,
which was in Civil War. Yeah, which I quite like. So the other one, actually, in Bad Times, she wasn't that. She was all right. In that.
Yeah. Bad Times. There's some times where she just sort of stands out, and you're like, "Why are you in this?" But for me, I have to keep saying for me because I don't want to just be mean for the sake of being mean. But there's films where I don't. It doesn't stand out as much to me, and I think those are the two. But anyway.
Okay, can we just do one quick thing, Toes? So,
yes.
Out of all the cinema films you can do, and you've got to do this off as quick as you can. So, out of all we're talking about all the actors, the female actors, who do you dislike the most? Which one do you like the most?
I'm going to say
mine now is Julia Roberts.
Question.
Mine is Julia Roberts.
That is a mean question.
It is a mean question.
That's a mean question.
But I can think off the top of my head of all the stuff, Julia Roberts.
I mean, there's some actors and male and female who, if you see they're in a film, it will slightly put you off going to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I dislike them, but there are some people I'm thinking, because to be honest with you, I know this is maybe controversial, but I'm not a huge fan of Olivia Colman. And when I see her in a film, it makes me pause now to think, oh, I might want to see it, but do I want to see it with her in it? Because I've had enough of her.
It's a bit like Pedro Pascal, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal is everywhere.
You like them and then you get capacity, and it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm in the
Yeah.
red now in terms of
The
tolerance
thing
for
is,
that
the thing
particular
is,
actor.
Pedro Pascal I actually really like, but I mean, at the moment,
Yeah.
it's like it feels as if every single
Everyone.
role in Hollywood, they're contractually bound to offer it to him before they offer it to anybody else. Because he is, I don't understand how he's currently in 3 films that are in cinemas right now: Eddington,
Yeah.
Materialists, and Fantastic Four: First Steps. And I'm like, I'm like, how are you doing this? Has someone given him a time turner? How are you making all these films concurrently? It's kind of like, but and then he will now show up in a TV show as well. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. But okay, I think if you wanted to say like to answer your original question, it's like I think I've said it already. Like I find it hard to warm to Brie Larson and Dakota Johnson. I find it like if they are in something, like I think Dakota Johnson especially, if she's in something, and I'm kind of like it has to be the concept, and I like the concept of Materialists that gets me there, and I think Brie Larson as well. I do feel like but it's mean, but I feel like essentially when everybody overhyped, that's what I'm looking for.
Overhyped. Yeah.
And I feel like around about the time when she won her Oscar and everything, like everybody was going on about this, and I was like, oh yeah. I don't see it. And it's just one of those things where you just go, I don't see it. And I'm not sure if I have any male actors that are just kind of like similar thing.
Mine's Clarky.
Oh yeah, I know. Jason Clark. Okay, I'll tell you what. There was a period of time where they seemed very, very intent on ramming Harry Styles down our throats.
Yes.
And I was like, why? Why are you trying to ram Harry Styles down our throat? Because I don't see anything that's great from a filmmaking perspective here, but they kept trying to make Harry Styles happen, and that was something that. So if I saw Harry Styles was in something, it was kind of like maybe I'm not gonna watch that. But like for instance, Don't Worry Darling, they gave you Florence Pugh, and so you were like, okay, well I'll go see it from Florence Pugh, but if I have to deal with Harry Styles to see Florence Pugh, I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm a bit with Olivia Colman. I'm a bit Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
He's got, especially in that last one, The Critic. That was.
I'm a little bit just over some of those mannerisms that he brings to every role, and I think
every single role.
I used to think he was really good. Well, he has been really good in things.
Yeah.
So but now I tend to, if I see he's in it, I'm thinking he's going to be doing the same mannerisms, and I think, no.
My Ian McKellen, I got turned off when I went to see him. I went to see him play King Lear in some theater in London years ago, and the way he came out, when he came out for his curtain call at the end, and he sort of stood there in the center of the stage and looked around until everybody stood up and gave him a standing ovation before he bowed. And that from that day on, I was like, I don't think I like this guy.
I thought he was Richard III. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I saw it many years ago, only on the DVD.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I sort of loved him for that for a while, and I liked his Gandalf. And then after
I love this Magneto. I love this Gandalf. And then when he started becoming like a real big name in Hollywood, that was after that I saw his King Lear, and at that point I just kind of thought,
then I just started thinking, you know what, I can't want the same things again.
He was really. Oh, but on about actors that you like, we got that UFC film coming in, didn't they? Was it called with The Rock?
The Smashing Machine.
Oh, Dwayne,
yeah, old Dwayne Johnson. But from the trailer, he looks like they've made him up.
Well, if you look, I'll tell you what, like, because he's playing a guy called Mark Kerr. Look up pictures of the actual Mark Kerr, and then compare them with pictures of The Rock in the film The Smashing Machine, and you see what they've done there. Really? But anyway, I've got to head off.
And an American football one called Hymns coming out as well. I don't know.
I think you're going to like that one, Shaun.
I think I'm going to like that.
I think you're going to like that one. So until next week, which point we will watch some stuff and we will tell you about it. It is a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Yes, find us on YouTube, find us on Instagram, follow us, do stuff, tell us how stupid we are, and tell us why we are totally wrong about Dakota Johnson and who was the other one? Brie Larson. Yeah, tell us exactly what it is. Explain to me what the appeal is, because I really don't know. But until next week, we will see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Cool.
Bye.
Brilliant.